Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Sinestro as Parallax action figure. This is from the Green Lantern comics. This is a gold labeled Target exclusive, part of the most recent Target wave. I found these guys today. They're not street dated, and they're also not available to pre-order off the Target app, which is pretty unusual. But happy to have these guys checked off the list. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts. McFarlane Toys, ages 12 plus. Part of the Gold Label collection, a Gold Label figure is simply a retailer exclusive. Whether it be GameStop or Walmart, this Gold Label is a Target exclusive. DC Multiverse Sinestro Parallax. Here he is in the package. We have a display stand, collector's card, and a little construct of Parallax himself. One side of the package, Sinestro Parallax from Green Lantern. Sinestro Parallax. The bottom, there's the barcode if that helps anybody. And on the back side, here he is posed up from the comics. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. We have a display stand, collector's card, and then a construct of a dragon. Before I take a look at all that, let's talk about and check out the figure. So this is Sinestro, the leader of the Sinestro Corps, the Yellow Lanterns, instead of the Green Lanterns, where they're on the side of good and use the power of will. These guys use the power of fear. Now this is when Parallax, I guess, merged or took over Sinestro. When Sinestro went rogue, he came back with a Yellow Lantern ring. And at one point, he was able to wake up the sort of hibernating Parallax. At one point, Parallax took over Hal Jordan and killed the majority of the Green Lantern Corps. And then at a later point, he took over Sinestro or merged with him. And this is what this version is. Sinestro controlled by Parallax. So let's take a look at him. It looks to be the same body as Hal Jordan Parallax, and that makes sense. Easy reuse for McFarlane, and makes sense for the figure. It looks to be an older version of Sinestro, a little bit of gray in the hair, different kind of face sculpt, still has those pointed ears and that pink skin. He's got the Yellow Lantern body, armored outfit, double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, cape looks mighty familiar, and his face looks pretty cool. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. Yellow eyes, pink skin, pointed ears, Hitler-style mustache. It looks like Sinestro and an older version at that. I wanted to check out his power ring. This is on his left hand, and I appreciate that it's not just a bit of yellow dot onto his hand. It's an actual sculpted ring. It's on his left hand, whereas most of the lanterns wear them on their right hand. Now let's check out his accessories, starting off with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand, typical McFarlane stand we've seen countless times before. Very thin, very basic. And for his collector's card, as you can see, it's an image of Sinestro Parallax. He has the same armor as a figure, same head as a figure, same gray, same pointed ears. It actually looks very accurate to the source material. Sinestro Parallax from Green Lantern. On the back side, there is a description. If you want to read that, pause now. And now for his construct. It's a dragon. It's cast in a semi-transparent yellow plastic. It has the sort of Yellow Lantern logo on the chest there, at least that's what it looks like to me. And it's sort of when Parallax merged with Sinestro, and it's sort of, I don't know, making a construct sort of himself. The sculpt looks nice. The transparent effect is cool. I like the wings. Here's a look at Sinestro creating that construct of that dragon. Now it does wrap around his arm, but it's pretty much like a balancing act to get it to stand like this. It doesn't wrap around his arm tight enough to be effective. Now to check out the reuse, similarities and differences between the Sinestro Parallax and the Hal Jordan Parallax. And they do share most of the same parts. So let's take a look. Start with their heads. Obviously the heads are totally different. As we go further down, you can see the same shoulder armor, the same chest and stomach piece. He has the Sinestro Yellow Lantern logo sort of painted on there, not sculpted, and his is kind of blank. Same arms, you can see the sculpted lines. They are different hands, although there's really no reason they couldn't have given him the same hands. And everything from the waist down is the same. You can see some of the same details, just painted a little bit differently. Even the cape is the same. So beyond The head sculpt is 100% the same figure, same sculpt, same articulation, just a different paint job. Sinestro is now the 4th figure to utilize this base body. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at the figure and his accessories, let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing about 7.3 inches tall, which can translate to 18.5 centimeters. And for his articulation, starting with his head, of course, you're going to rotate side to side. He can look up and down a pretty good amount. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint goes out about 90 degrees, a little bit more. Up, down, around. The shoulder pads are soft. They kind of move out of the way as you go up. It's a nice little feature. He does have that butterfly ring between his shoulder and chest. Increase the range of motion and cover the gap that would be there. Bicep cut. Double jointed elbows. His wrist can rotate and it's hinged. In his torso, he has a ball joint, rotate around, forward and back. Another one is waist, rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, pretty good range of motion. You get a little bit more out of the waist to the torso in this guy. Legs, complete as a splits, McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation is minimal. Legs go forward all the way, back not much. Double jointed knees, although the bottom part is kind of stuck. There it goes. And then his ankle. Forward and back, rotate, tilt rock, and toe articulation. Here's a look at Sinestro and his Parallax Armor. He's defeated the entire Green Lantern Corps. Now let's check him out. Next is some other action figures, starting off with some other Sinestro and Yellow Lantern Corps figures. Here's just Parallax Sinestro, next to the Collector's Edition Sinestro. This is my favorite figure of Sinestro that McFarlane has made because it's the regular Yellow Lantern Corps Sinestro, not in Parallax Armor, not his Green Lantern outfit, the traditional Yellow Lantern Corps version. And you can see they have completely different head sculpts. This looks to be a younger version of Sinestro, and this looks to be a much older version. I appreciate that because they could have easily used the same head sculpt, just called it a day, but no, they went the extra step and reused 90% of the body, but gave it a new head at least. And here he is, next to McFarlane's version of Sinestro as a Green Lantern. He's right in the process of turning into the Yellow Lantern. Then, next to Mattel DC Universe Classic Sinestro, this is him as a Green Lantern. And then here are all of my different Sinestro figures. 2 as Yellow Lanterns, 2 as Green Lanterns. Here's Sinestro, next to McFarlane, Sinestro Corps Batman. So here are all the McFarlane Yellow Lantern figures, and there are plenty more they could do. Then, next to a couple of NECA Yellow Lantern Sinestro Corps Predators. And now, with the Mattel DC Universe Classics Sinestro Corps Batman and Scarecrow. Here are all the different Yellow Lantern Sinestro Corps figures that I have. Batman, Sinestro, Predator, and Scarecrow. And now, with some other McFarlane Lantern figures. Here's Parallax Sinestro, next to Hal Jordan, both classic and modern. And here he is, next to John Stewart, both classic and modern. Then, with a couple of Kyle Rayner Green Lantern figures. And now, with a couple of Batman as Green Lantern figures. And here, with a few other Green Lantern Corps members, Abin Sur, Kilowog, and Tomar Ray. Here are all the different McFarlane DC Multiverse Green Lantern figures they've made so far. Quite the army Green Lantern Corps. Here's Sinestro with some McFarlane Black Lanterns. And here with some Red Lanterns. Then with a Blue Lantern. And finally, next McFarlane's only White Lantern figure. Now let's check him out next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is next to the rest of his wave. These are both Target exclusive figures. We have the Parallax Sinestro and the JSA Commander Steel. Here's Sinestro next to the previous wave of Target figures, Metallo and Fire. And here he is next to the most recent Jokerized wave, Hush, Harley Quinn, and Batman. Then, next to the most recent Page Puncher wave, both the regular and Platinum Chase versions of the Damian Wayne Robin and the Rebirth Deathstroke. And now, with the most recent Platinum wave, Effigy, The Question, and Shining Knight. Here's Sinestro, next to the Dawn of the DC Red Hood, and the Rebirth Cyborg. And here he is, next to the Michael Go Alfred that came with the Batman Forever Batmobile, the McFarlane Toy Store exclusive Jonah Hex, and the GameStop exclusive Frostbite Deathstroke. Then, with the 7th wave of McFarlane Collector's Edition figures, the Battle Damage Dark Knight Returns Batman, the new 52 Hunters, and a couple Green Lantern Corps members, Toma Ray and Eben Sewer. And now, with the Batman Forever wave, Collective Build of Nightmare Bat, and finally, with the previous Platinum wave, Hugo Strange's Batman, Bullseye Batman, Batfleck from The Flash, and Batman Begins Lucius Fox. Now let's check them out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale, and now, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures, and some Diamond Select toys. Here's Sinestro, next to a bag of Berry Colossal Crunch cereal. I tried to find something yellow for my random comparison in this video. And here he is, with some DC Direct and NECA figures. Then, with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures. And now, with some Mezco and Mattel DC figures. Next, with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends. And finally, with some SH Figure Arts and Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, it's a cool Sinestro figure. Personally, I prefer the one without the Parallax Armor, but it's nice to have some different variations. I really appreciate that he has a different head sculpt. An older Sinestro was very appropriate for this base figure. I also like the Construct Dragon. It's a cool accessory, but it could have been done a little better, wrapped around his arm, a little tighter, and allowed him to hold a display better. There is a lot of reuse here, at least 90%. And it's actually really appropriate and accurate to the source material, but it makes for kind of a boring familiar figure. His accessory, it's really just the one thing. It's pretty cool. Sculpted paint job, pretty nice. Articulation is everything you'd expect from a modern McFarlane DC Multiverse figure. If I were to rate this guy, probably going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. I really do prefer the regular version of Sinestro because it's kind of an all-purpose. He can be fighting Hal Jordan, in the Legion of Doom, etc. But, like I said, this is a cool variation. Even though it's a ton of reuse, it's very accurate to the source material. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say to the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you real soon.